take a walk with me. Stretch out this time and savor the moment. It's time for a red mage, blue mage extra turn, baby. Oh yeah.
And we're live.
Hey.
Oh, it's been a while. It's been a while.
It has been a while. We haven't
Jeez.
streamed a recording in at least a month.
This is very true. Let me fix your head in this. You're up so high. Why are you up so high? Get down low. Nope. There. Stop moving. You're fine now.
I'm just trying to help.
You're good. It's all good.
All right. Well, it has been a hot and spicy minute since we've recorded. And luckily, nothing really has happened in the Magic the Gathering world for us to talk about.
Yeah, it's been kind of boring, actually.
Yeah,
nothing new.
kind of quiet.
Nothing going on.
That's not true.
We're liars!
We've got bi-weekly bannings going on. We have new products of dubious origins.
And intent.
And we need to talk about it. We've really just got the one topic for today, and I think it's going to be hefty enough that we should just dive in. Do you think?
Yeah, let's just go to it. All right. You
Red
ready?
Mage, Blue Mage. Let's do it.
All right.
Dateline, Dominaria, 4823. This is your multiverse breaking news.
Okay. So, the breaking news. We're going to go ahead and real quickly breeze through the recap for anybody that doesn't know what's going on. This will come out Monday, so this is about a week old if you're listening to this later as the podcast.
Which means that this news is actually like 3 weeks old by the time they get to them. So not really breaking news, more like...
No, we're gonna drop this coming Monday. So
the news came out last week, and then there's this week. So it's like 2 weeks old news.
It is. Okay, we should get into it first.
Okay.
So the news is a new product that has been announced by Wizards of the Coast. It is a new Secret Lair drop, and it is a Secret Lair crossover with the AMC show The Walking Dead, specifically the show.
Right.
Not the comics.
Not the comic, yeah.
So we've seen Secret Lairs before. They have so far been reskins of old cards. Mm-hmm. So you have purchased, for example, the Goblins
exploding sounds or something like that.
Yes. So all cards that had been existed, reprinted with cool new art for each of them. And that's what Secret Lairs have been up until this point. They stepped into a little bit of controversy when they had a Secret Lair drop that was fetch lands, which is something that desperately needs reprinted. And Secret Lairs are like a premium collector's item, so they're not really a good place to reprint basic game components that you need to play certain formats. But again, they've been reprints. These are cards that represent characters from the show The Walking Dead, and very importantly, they are black bordered. They are legal in Eternal formats, so they're legal in Commander, Legacy, and Vintage. And the biggest thing about them is that they're mechanically unique, which means they are not reprints. These are brand new Magic cards coming into the environment that are legal to play in these particular formats. It garnered an extremely negative reaction from the community, at least the vocal community. Maybe there's lots of silent people who think this is awesome or don't care. But everybody on Twitter, basically, and in comments and on Reddit, this has been received very, very poorly overall. Let me get your perspective. What do you think in general, and why?
So I like Secret Lair because I do like special, unique, like tailor-made, custom. Like this is a special thing for you. For the most part, like I got it for cosmetic reasons. They're cards I wanted that already existed. I wanted for my Commander Goblin deck, my Krenko Commander deck, and I was like, I really like alternate art. I enjoy that. So I like Secret Lair as a product already. I don't care about The Walking Dead, so this means nothing to me.
Same.
I watched like the first two, like the yeah, I think the first season, maybe some of the second season, but I really didn't get into it. My dad is really into it. If my dad played Magic the Gathering, he would buy this product because he just likes The Walking Dead. And I don't think there's anything wrong with like crossovers and stuff. I think it's actually kind of cool to have like they did the Godzilla, right? So it's like a reskinned card, but they had like licensing to use Godzilla, and that's really cool. And I like that. I think it's fun. I would love to see more Dungeons and Dragons stuff. We know that that's going to be coming eventually and soon. So,
yeah, and we should, just for audience members who aren't aware, the Godzilla cards that were in Ikoria, these were originally Magic cards, Magic IP, that then they had special versions with Godzilla art on them and Godzilla names, and underneath them was the official name.
Right.
So these were just skins, basically, official skins that you could use, but for regular Magic cards that you could acquire elsewhere.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So that to me is all well and good. What makes it for me on the and which a lot of people are upset about is the fact that these are mechanically different cards, something that's never existed before in Magic. So they're unique, which is not, it's kind of breaking the format of Secret Lair, in my opinion. Like,
It definitely is, yeah.
It's not what Secret Lair I thought, or I think everybody else thought it was going to be, where it's just like these collectibles that already existed that you can just have in different.
It's certainly not what they said it was going to be.
Right. And then on top of that, they are legal cards in, what was it? All of it? Everything?
No.
Not
legal
standard.
In Commander, Legacy, and Vintage.
Yeah.
So it's not even legal in Modern.
Right. So, but for those formats, it's like, well, you just kind of threw in a wrench. Like you just, especially Commander, because this is the only place you're going to get it, which we just recently had an episode go out about MTG Finance and how this becomes a very, a way to make money.
Yeah, it becomes MTG Finance bait, basically.
Yeah, it's like, so you have several things happening. MTG Finance people are going to be like, well, let's buy as many of these as we can. Like, whatever the limit is. I think, doesn't Secret Lair have a limit? I think it does.
I believe it does.
But there's ways around that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, like, have every single cousin buy it for you, and then give them money, and then have them give it to you. That kind of stuff. But
create a bunch of dummy accounts, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. You might not have a ton of cousins, so I'm sorry. I didn't mean to exclude non-cousin having people. Make dummy a cousin accounts. So anyway, so there's that, which I already have problems with in general. Like, anytime a new product comes out and people buy it all up just to make profit, I understand the lure and like, well, I can make money off this, but I also think it's kind of just shitty sometimes.
Yeah, sure.
It can be, and it gets shittier in things like necessity stuff. Like, I can like look away at like Magic the Gathering cards and like gaming and gaming console stuff because that's
when you're stockpiling toilet paper.
But when for instance, if you're stockpiling toilet paper or clean water or Clorox wipes, then you can just go to fucking hell.
Right.
So anyway, so I think there's a big difference there. It still doesn't feel always great, but hey, if that's the game you want to play, you play your game. I'm happy for you. The game within the game of Magic the Gathering, the finance game.
I'm not that happy for you. I'm not that happy for you if you are being enabled by wizards to do that.
Yes. Yeah.
And if they're depending on that, they're like, we are depending on collectors and finance people to buy up our product so it sells really well, sell it in the secondary market. Like, I've got problems with that.
I do too. I don't know. It's weird. It's like a really weird area for me because I know if I like, it's a way to make money. Like, I
Sure.
get it. but at the same time, like, it's not my game. I wouldn't want to make money do this way. But I also think it's kind of like, look, I work for a corporation. This is like a very corporation move. Like, I see it all the time. So I'm not surprised.
For sure. And I wanted to get this perspective from you because this topic has been talked about to death. Every MTG content creator is talking about this. And so I wanted to just hit the basic notes really quickly. And what I really want to get into is some deeper stuff or more specific angles from us. And I want to know from your perspective how you think about how were these decisions made, do you think, that got us to this stage that we're at? Are you having flashbacks to work?
Yeah. You want me to talk about it right now? Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's usually somebody in the company who unfortunately is in a very high up role, like VP level, or has some tie to board members. Usually that board member has ties to outside people and outside industry people or other license, like they have a friend who is a VP or a director, or it's a cousin, or it's a brother, or it's a uncle or nephew somewhere else. And this is how things happen. Going back to cousins. And usually what happens is they have like ways to just like, well, I'm a VP and I like this, and my cousin works at AMC, so my cousin and I are going to make a Walking Dead thing, and there's tons of Walking Dead fans, and this will be a really good way to like bring in new market and go into a different market, because we know we have this market cornered. We got the D&D nerds cornered. We definitely have Magic the Gathering nerds cornered, but there's a whole world of nerds out there that we can tap into. So my cousin, let's put this together. Let's make this happen. And some of it is based in obviously sound marketing logic and principles and data and all of that. But then you have the other people at lower level who are like, hey, there's a community around this and also a game that this affects. There's going to be problems. And the brave people who do that usually just don't get listened to. And then the higher ups push it through. And I'm going to give an example from my real world experience. This person's no longer with my company, and I don't give a fuck because it's hilarious. So we always talk about different types of markets, right? And we try to categorize them. And if you're a user experience person, you probably have heard about like personas, making up a character or person who represents your consumer base and yada yada. And that happens in smart companies. They will build personas, and they really want to know the people that they're making product for. And they actually listen, and it's consumer driven data that they make these decisions based on.
Even Wizards does that with their psychographics for their different types of players.
Yes, exactly. It's very smart. Because whatever. But then you also think about the old school way of doing it was just literally all about class, like how rich you are and where you're at in the socioeconomic level. It's like, well, this is a high end product and this is a low end product. This was cheaper, higher margin. This lower margins, lower cost thing. It's easy to make, cheap to make, but we don't make a lot of money off of it. But then we'll put a brand on something that is made with a little bit better quality material, a little bit quality this, but higher margins because you're selling the name, the brand.
Right.
And so this...
And then a level above that where it's like, it's all like primo, high-end, big name.
So if you follow me on Twitter or if you hear me on streams, I work with baby products, juvenile products. And this executive really wanted to push the primo, like this is like elite. I'm selling baby stuff to parents who never spend time with their babies.
Right. I'm selling Gucci brand.
So I'm going to want silver-plated handles. I'm not joking. This is legit. It was like...
this is not parody.
This is not parody. I had there's an executive was like, I want our things to be like, I don't know, the Lexus or whatever high-end car, I don't even know of, like, not even Lexus,
brand.
whatever, the higher up, you know, like, and he was all about these, like, details, and, like, this has silver this, and this has leather that, and, like, we're gonna get these leather handles made by a vehicle leather handle manufacturer, and it was like, who are we selling this to?
Right.
And are you making your But again, it was like, this guy that was what he wanted to do. And because he was connected, he got to do it. He got to do it. But it made a lot of problems for sourcing and for R&D and for compliance and for quality assurance, all this extra work, because you don't think about that too. You don't think about, like, if you make a decision like this, like, I don't know, musk ox leather handles on a car seat.
Right. Where are we getting that?
Where are you getting that? What's the impact, the timing, the resources, the team that it's going to take up to just this one thing? So yeah, you do this, but anyway, that's insider knowledge for how things in the corporate world, like, if as a consumer you're going, why did they do that?
Right.
For me, it usually comes from something like that. Usually. Because someone wanted it and they had power to have it.
Someone higher up wanted this to happen.
Yes.
And in this particular case especially, I think it's very clear you can see why someone up the chain wanted to do this. I think it will sell.
Oh, yeah, it'll sell.
I think it'll do well for them.
And people bought the leather car seat stuff. So
Right. This actually gets me into one of the other points that I wanted to talk about, which is you and I in a previous episode, we were talking about the topic of what pisses you off about Magic. Mm-hmm. And this was my thing, and you latched on and you agreed. And maybe you've changed your mind in the meantime. But one of the things that annoys me is when people complain about, oh, WotC's just doing this to make money.
No,
WotC just wants to make money. And my opinion is like...
Of course.
Yes, they want, like, their company. Like, they're making these cards to make money. That's fine.
I think I agree with you, and I still agree with you. That to me is like, you're dealing with a corporation. They are not your friend. Right. A corporation as an entity will never be your friend. Because at the end of the day, they are trying to keep themselves alive. And if it's a good corporation, they care about their employees too, and that's a part of it. It's like, this is ways that we can develop and expand and add more people and more resources, and that's good when a corporation is, but they're still wanting to make money.
Yes, definitely. And actually, you're getting into the extra topic I wanted to discuss.
Okay.
Which is, and here's my question for you. What is the difference? Because a lot of people are saying that this is, on Wizards' part, this Secret Lair Walking Dead crossover is a greedy cash grab. I tend to agree. What's the difference between this is a greedy cash grab and what we perceived previously as like, well, of course they want to make money. Like, this product will make money for them, but what makes it a greedy cash grab? That's in, like, what makes this bad?
It's when it starts to fuck with the formats that are pre-established and they put the rules committee in binds.
Right.
It's like they could have easily have done a reskin cards with the Walking Dead stuff on it, and it's like, okay, cool. You're making money off of a license thing. Cool, good for you. That's fine. That's totally cool. But the minute you start fucking around or messing up, throwing wrenches into the actual mechanics of the game, because the huge deal of it, right, is that we talked about the rules committee for Commander actually put a poll out saying, what do you think we should do, community, with these cards? And like overwhelmingly, it was like 96% of people who were polled said ban these cards right now.
And like 30,000 people voted.
And then it puts that's not a small amount of people. It puts those rules committee in a bad position, because if they ban the cards outright, then Wizards isn't going to make money, because it's not going to be playable. It's just going to be literally
and the rules committee is going to that's going to damage their relationship with Wizards if
Yes.
they decide to ban cards before they come out.
So they've put the rules committee in this really, really shitty fucking position where it's like what do? They can't. I mean, if I was in that position, I would. It's hard. It's like, okay, I can either fuck over my community or I can fuck over my relationship with Wizards. So to me, that's why it feels really bad.
Yeah, I agree. And I would add on top of that, a big thing I've been thinking about with this and with Standard and all of the bannings, this is all all of it's coalescing into one bigger conversation. Wizards has been in this pattern recently of trading off the long-term health of the game for short-term profits.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes this a greedy cash grab, and what makes it different from people who I think fallaciously are like, Wizards is just making this card to sell their cards and get money. It's like, of course, where it becomes a problem is if in the long term this damages the game and makes people leave Magic and harms old formats and makes people not want to play anymore,
Right.
then everybody loses ultimately.
Mm-hmm. And if you go into user experience field and you start learning more about consumer behavior, or even if you're in a marketing field and you start doing psychological evaluation, a lot of people are emotional buyers.
Yeah, for sure.
There are very few, I feel like, evil DM Josh, who are rational buyers. But even then, Josh will have his own emotional buy into stuff, right? Like, I want to do this because it's for my friends, or I want to do this because it's for this. I buy it this way. But especially in this day and age, I talked about it before, where it's like, oh my God, my pedestal. We're no longer in the industrial area of things, right? Like, products should work. We have the technology for safe, good product. And so now it's like, what are you selling? You're selling relationship, you're selling brand, you're selling to emotion, you're selling to make connections to people for story. I mean, there is a lot of stuff that in master's degree and in my certification that's all about how to make a good story to sell your product, because products should just be products, right? Like, baseline, they should work. And so usually it's that extra aha or the innovative stuff or the story now that's you're trying to sell.
It's a refrigerator, but you can see through the door and look at the food that's in there.
Right, or because you're trying to save energy. There's the story. You're environmentally conscious. You want to save electricity. Right. It's so cool. It's a see-through thing. I don't have to open the door, waste light, waste the coldness of air. By using our fridge, you're saving the earth. It makes me feel good when I use it.
Right.
So that kind of stuff. And so when you start damaging your relationship and fucking over your story, that connection, like this, that is when you're gonna start. Yeah, it's what Josh is saying right now in chat, where he's like, feels like all companies are very short-sighted.
Yeah.
And it might be also because of what's going on, in the world right now,
the Earth,
the whole world, where it's like, we just got to stay alive. I don't think Wizards has to worry about that. I'm not sure how they're doing. I'm probably pretty well.
They're doing gangbusters, as Josh would say.
Yes.
They're doing super, super well. But, it's also hard to know for, they're doing very, very well. Is that because of these strategies that they're using? Is it sustainable? I know people are miserable with Standard and have been for a solid year plus right now. Mm-hmm. And I think these conversations go hand in hand because, right now, you probably haven't followed the recent Standard stuff.
I'm not a Standard person, so no. I don't follow standard stuff.
So there's been another ban. We're not going to talk about bans anymore, I don't think, just because it's just so ho-hum, basically.
Yeah.
It's just so consistent. But basically, another big card got banned from Ikoria that should have been banned earlier. There's a new card, Omnath, in Standard right now that just got printed that is just ruining Standard. Like 85% of the field in the most recent big tournaments played Omnath. In the recent bans, everyone thought they should ban Omnath. He's not banned. This is the exact same pattern we saw last year with Oko, who came out, was taking over Standard. Wizard says, well, we got to sell our product, and this is like a big mythic from the set.
Yeah.
We don't want to ban it. They wait. The format suffers. Eventually, they ban it anyway. Looks like we're going down exactly the same road here. And to your earlier point, this is probably from higher up. Someone is like, we need to sell this product. Like,
Right.
you need to fix this format, but you can't ban this card right now. And it's the same thing that we're seeing, I think, with this product, which is like we're making these short-term decisions that maybe are damaging relationships with our customers and damaging these formats and damaging the game, but we are going to do what we can to make money.
Right. And here's another thing, too. Like, I'm online a lot. You are online somewhat. There are people who are 0% cued into online stuff. They may read Reddit or they might whatever, but they're not really involved in the community. That's a huge voice of the consumer we don't hear. And it's like, is it affecting everybody or is it just the 30,000 people online?
It's hard to say.
And that's the thing too. It's like, yeah, you have 30,000 people online who are upset, but then it's like, what about the other 150,000 people who are Magic players? Like, we don't know.
That is the hard thing to say. Because the people who are going to go onto that straw poll that the rules committee put out, like myself, and vote on it, these are the people who are outraged. Like, people who don't care or are sanguine or whatever about it aren't going to go on there and say, no, you don't need to ban this.
And so then what's happening is you are going... If you are not cued into, if you're a person who's working for Wizards who's not cued into the community, aren't community relations people, and are just strictly the business side of stuff and aren't aware, you're going to be specifically looking at numbers.
Yep.
If the sales aren't being affected or they're not being affected much, they're not going to change usually.
Yeah, totally.
The bottom line is usually the thing that makes decisions happen.
Totally. I've been thinking a lot about this recently, and I was thinking about a very, very old conversation that I go back to every once in a while. I remember when downloadable content was like first becoming a thing in video games and the discussions around that. And in particular, I remember a podcast from Penny Arcade where Mike and Jerry were talking about, I think they were talking about the horse armor from Oblivion was one of the early examples of this. It was a downloadable thing. And it's like, honestly, the horse armor is not that offensive. It's like a skin for your horse in this game that you don't have to buy. And it's more about where is this going after this? What are we building up to? And their big concern was like, eventually are we getting to a point where game developers are selling you half a game for full price and then parceling out a la carte the rest of the game? And I think that's where a lot of people are on this product, Secret Lair and The Walking Dead. It's not that these cards are so offensive or that they're broken or that they're a big problem right now. It's where is it going? And we put out on Twitter earlier today topics that people wanted to discuss with this product. And Seth was basically asking, Carter SA87 on Twitter, are there going to be more products like these in the future? What will they be like? Where is this going in the future?
I mean, for me, it's like, they could end up making another format. Like if we're looking like way far out into the future, but like, to me, it's like, I don't know. It's like, for me, again, Secret Lair was a really cool concept for customizable cards. You want a goblin, you knew cool artwork for certain goblin cards or like reprints of cards. That's cool. I like that. But if they keep adding new making new cards into these things, it's like, are they trying to test to see if they could potentially turn this into some sort of other meta game format. Like, that's where my mind like goes out far future. I hope. I mean, they could. Like, I don't know what their roadmap looks like.
I'd rather that.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're gonna make this, like, first of all, I'm with a lot of people. I don't want to play with Walking Dead cards. I'd rather that exist in its own space, which is why people are like, why not go silver bordered with these cards? I look at it, and these could have been silver bordered very easily. They specifically wanted them to be black bordered and playable in Commander and Legacy and Vintage. I think, if anything, the trend's going to keep pushing in this direction. And I don't think it's crazy to say we might be moving to a world where one of these secret layers coming up will be making mechanically new cards that are standard playable or modern playable.
Well,
and that's the worrying thing in my mind.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm like, if you're going to start doing this... Okay, if I was a product marketer or whatever in Wizards, and you're trying to make new products without fucking over what's already exists in the world, I would end up trying to make a new format out of this, like Secret Lair format, where it's, or whatever you want to fucking call it. And you would start out by doing these kinds of cards and building up over time. And then you could say, okay, like, it would have to be a well thought out, planned, well orchestrated transition as you're dropping cards into the world.
Or you say, hey, like this past year or 2 years ago, whenever they released unsanctioned new silver bordered cards for the first time in a while, maybe we're starting this whole silver bordered universe where some of these secret layers are going to get dropped into that environment as well.
That'd be really cool. I would be up for that, but like, people don't like change. It's unsettling, and especially like it's something that they are very passionate about and that they love. You can't just change it on them all of a sudden, like, especially me being me, who is a person who greatly doesn't like change. I would be very upset if I was more passionate about certain formats, and if I wasn't super, super casual. So I feel for these people. It's like, what are you, Wizards, what are you doing? Like, or at least be more transparent about what your plans are.
Well, I think that's the extra thing that makes people really upset, is they specifically said very, very recently, we will not be making mechanically unique cards that we're selling directly to you. Like, I'm like, within a couple weeks of this announcement, they said that. And here we are.
Fucking liars! We aren't the liars. They're the liars.
Yeah. Okay, so this actually gets us to Josh. Also, when we put out that tweet earlier today, Josh's question was more about. They said, in particular, Mark Rosewater said on Twitter in response to people's being upset and their concerns. He said, if we want to, we have the ability in the future, if one or more of these cards from this secret layer become really popular, we could reprint them with normal Magic skins instead. So if Negan, the Cold-Hearted, is that his name?
Whatever, yeah.
The Cold-Blooded. If Negan the Cold-Blooded becomes like a Commander staple, we could print Glorbzoth the Merciless with the same mechanics.
That's a nice backpedal.
It's a nice story to tell. People very, very rightly, I think, have blasted that as being insufficient. Like you're saying, it sounds like,
oh, whoopsie doodles.
And also, like, Wizards has very famously been A, bad at reprinting things that need to be reprinted, and B, taking cards that should be reprinted and made available and using them as a little carrot to dangle in front of us and buy products that they want to ship.
Like, if it's a top card and a... Yeah, gotcha, yeah.
Like, any modern set has a few chase rares that players really need.
Right.
And a lot of chaff that they're just trying to ship on us.
Right.
So that's not super reassuring. I will say, very quickly today, I did a quick search of some Commander cards, like that they specifically printed new cards for Commander in the precons and stuff. And generally they do a pretty good job of reprinting those, including, but like you look at Kalia of the Vast. This was a very exciting, in the first batch of pre-con commanders that they sold, and it took them ages to reprint this. So the thing is, their pipeline, it takes so long for them to go from having meetings about we need to reprint this card to cards are being printed and shipped.
It's almost like they need an entire sustaining department that lives in R&D and a whole R&D that's literally just new product development and a VAVE department it's the same problem I face.
Yeah.
Where it's like you have not enough people and you spread them too thin and you don't manage your product very well.
Yeah. I think this is a good tie-in as well. So maybe this will be the last bit that we talk on here. Because like I said, I really wanted us, as we're talking about this, to touch on new ideas in this discussion. Part of the discussion I've been listening to so many podcasts, so many YouTube videos talking about this, and a lot of content creators, I think correctly, are pointing to the community's really negative reaction, and there's a little bit of a, can we calm down a little bit to it? And I think we should state, and this should be obvious, attacking people like individuals is not good.
Nope.
And not a good way to approach this.
I have always said to everybody I've worked with, it's like if there's a problem in a system, then you have to look at the system as a whole. And if it's usually not a single person's issue. It is usually not it, especially in stuff like this, unless it is, and then they're higher up, and then, but
it's certainly not the people that we see.
No, absolutely not. Like, I can guarantee, I don't even follow like Mark Rosewater, but like just watching some of his talks on YouTube,
it's not him.
It is not him.
Yeah.
And even what's his face, Andrew? What's the other guy?
Aaron Forsyth.
Thank you, the A name. Sorry, Aaron Forsyth. Not like you'll ever listen to this podcast. It's not him either. And it's like, to me, it's like, I even tell my employees who have frustrations with me, I'm like, look, guys, I'm going to be completely transparent. I don't know what's going on because nobody higher up than me is telling me what's going on, and I'm trying my best. But
yeah.
I have to work on deliverables, and I can't fix these problems right now. So,
yep. And speaking of Aaron Forsyth and Mark Rosewater, so Aaron Forsyth was on a weekly MTG YouTube video where he was being interviewed by Blake Rasmussen. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. It was him and Mark Hagen being interviewed, and they're basically trying to address some of the blowback that they're receiving. And one, I just feel so bad for these dudes being interviewed because these aren't their decisions, and they are clearly being thrust out there to like try to save some face, and they have to say things that are just so outrageous. Like Aaron Forsyth in this video is trying to assure us that, don't worry, we're not going to make something broken with these cards, while their standard is completely broken. And in the past year, they printed Nexus of Fate, a mechanically unique buy a box promo that wrecked standard and they had to ban. Like, it's just completely untenable what they're trying to tell us. And it's not Aaron Forsyth's fault.
Well, that's what kills me the most. Why I get so mad and upset, because it's like, this is something that's really passionate. Like, as I've like in my own career path, my own like trajectory into whatever the world is, whatever. Anyway, I am so about being transparent to a certain degree. Like, of course, I'm not going to be like super revealing. Like, I'm not going to talk about my personal life with my employees and stuff to a certain degree.
Sure.
But I hate the disconnect. I hate when somebody who is supposed to be a manager or a director or a VP of a company comes in, makes decisions, but has no idea, like, has never played Magic, or doesn't know the community, or isn't even interested in it. It's like some of the things that I've had to experience in my career is like, why are you trying to put me into marketing's group? That doesn't make any sense. I should not be reporting to marketing. I should be reporting to R&D because this is what my function is. Why are you trying to push me into marketing? And it's like, you don't know what I do. And then you're making
You're out
me
of touch.
changes. So I used to bounce around departments because nobody knew where to put me. And even though I'd say, I belong here because these are the people I work closely with. Oh, no, well, actually, it's more of a communications role. So you should be over here. And I'm like,
Says who?
who? I'm the one who does this job. Let me tell you where I need to go.
Yeah, I mean, we can only imagine the conversations that these people working at Wizards are trying to have or are having with people higher up and being like, this is like, I was thinking about this earlier today. I'm really trying to be careful that I'm not just looking at the good old days with my nostalgia goggles on and being like, oh, they used to be so transparent. They used to be so about like keeping the game healthy. But I was like, no, I have data to back this up. Like, when I was playing Magic when I first started, we just came off some bans in Mirrodin. There weren't any more bans for like 7 years after that until Stoneforge and Jace in Zendikar. When that happened, they were super transparent, published big articles about how this happened, why the story about how it happened isn't an excuse for these cards being too good,
right?
And then how we're going to make it better. And then it was better for so long. And now we live in this world where things like R&D has just completely fallen through somehow through whatever reasons. Like, it's not just me looking back and being like, oh, this used to be so much better.
Oh my god. And then going back to the poor people who are in R&D who are trying to manage it. To me, it makes me super mad when a person makes a bad call and they force another person to be the face and take responsibility for it. That pisses me off more than anything. Especially, if they were trying to do all signs point to that they have always been in the past very transparent, very open, and obviously really care and are passionate about what they work on. So it's very, very aggravating to me. And I'm not even mad about the game. Like, for me, it's like, it's not about Magic, the game.
You're like, those people.
I'm just sad for those poor people in those positions who have to work and develop and that used to love probably what they're doing.
For sure.
And now are like very sad and probably about it. Because I would 100% be.
I mean, I think about like, in my small Twitter sphere, I know of people who go to work for Wizards. Most of the people that I know who like go over there are D&D related, but people are so excited. Like, you go there because you're passionate.
Yeah,
about
you're like,
these
oh
things.
my god, I get to finally like impact something I love, and then they come out of it like that was
like hollowed husk.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Maybe I should stop saying hire me, Wizards.
Last thing I would say, I wanted to bring up. I agree with people who have saying don't attack individuals because it's not their fault.
Right.
But I also want to object to people who say, what are you so mad about? It's just a game. Like, you're allowed to be pissed off that this hobby that you are super passionate about and you love and has had like a big influence on your life, you're allowed to be mad that a company is trashing it.
Yep.
That's fair.
I think
you
so.
You don't have to feel bad about that.
No, I think it's... Yeah, I really hate when people tell people it's stop whining, it's just whatever. It's like, fuck you. Like, I'm not going to come to your house and, like, scream at you about why you're crying over whatever the fuck, I don't know, your teacup broke or something. It's just a teacup. Oh, your great-great-grandmother gave it to you? Whatever, she's
just
dead.
Yeah,
just
they're
get
just
over
bones.
it. This is I don't know. I couldn't come up with a better analogy. It's like, you're really into China? Smash! What are you crying about? It's just fucking China!
Just silica. Who cares?
Let me destroy your TV. Oh, it's just a TV.
I just think it's so ridiculous. I've been tilting so hard. I think this is the first time I've brought up League of Legends in this podcast.
Oh, maybe.
It's definitely not.
Whatever.
But it tilts me to no end because I'll be playing League, which is inherently a team-based competitive game, and you'll be playing it, and you'll be talking to someone on your team, hey, can you please do X? And they'll be like, what? It's just a game. Just relax. And it's like, you want to pull your hair out. It's like, Are you invested in this or not?
And if not, then why are you playing League of Legends? It sounds like a nightmare if you're not invested in it.
Yeah. And I mean, when it comes to, like, this product is clearly aimed at Commander. Explicitly, if you read their messaging, it's aimed at Commander players. And which is inherently a casual format. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean we want anything in this game.
Yeah.
Or that you can do anything or print any card, and like they can do things that will trash this format. Yeah. And it's okay to be upset about that if it's your passion.
Yep. All right. I'm passioned out.
Okay. We also are hollowed out husks now.
Yeah, I don't even work.
It is. I will say this was a very interesting. This is a very interesting development, and I've thought a lot about it.
Yeah, it hurts my soul.
Yeah, it does. All right, well, we'll be back here to talk about Strixhaven, the Harry Potter Special Edition.
Oh my God! Burn it! Is there gonna be a Harry Potter edition?
I think they will. I think that's the tie-in. I think.
Are they nuts?
I think here's the other thing, Amber. They make these decisions years in advance.
Oh my God! They probably already signed contracts.
Yeah,
they
fucking already have the cards
screwed.
Designed. Yeah, they're gonna get roasted.
They're going
when that
to.
happens.
It's going to hurt so much.
Yep.
You're gonna see people burn their Magic cards.
Are you excited about getting a Goblin card that is?
No,
Dobby?
I don't want. No, Dobby's a house elf. Get it right. I don't want Goblin bankers. That's Harry Potter goblins.
That's definitely gonna happen. They're gonna print the stupid dragon with the treasures in Gringotts Bank. It's gonna happen.
I hate it, and they're gonna get. They're fucked themselves over. It's not been a secret that J.K. Rowling's been a transphobic person for like years and years.
Yeah, it's bad. I think that's where we're probably going.
All right.
I want to put my prediction that will exist, and they're going to put some Harry Potter cards into Standard when Strixhaven rolls around.
Or they'll do a secret lair.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They'll do a secret lair with Harry Potter cards that will go into Standard as a tie-in with their Strixhaven setting.
Oh my God, you're right. Wow.
Buckle up, everybody.
Wow. Oh my God. Oh my God. Holy shit. Bye, Wizards. Bye, Magic the Gathering. You're gonna hurt yourself real bad with this one.
Yep.
Well, speaking of hurting, I don't know. I have nothing after that. I gotta go take a dump.
All right, let's close up here then. We're Red Mage, Blue Mage. It's good to be back streaming.
Yes,
it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. I've been mentally tanked. I'm better now.
We'll do our best to be here every Tuesday to record. Twitch.tv/Geekspective, Tuesdays at 7 Eastern. We're at RedBlueMTG on Twitter. I'm at Wolfmere on Twitter.
And I'm at Rocket Orca.
And until next time, I'll be representing Counterspell.
And I'll be burning Harry Potter cards. All right. Bye.